Hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you for joining us today on our first webinar with Tebex. We've actually never done one of these before, but it's great to have you all here and for us to discuss the recent news that we've had announced, which is that Overwolf has acquired Tebex, which I'm really pleased to announce to you today. We have Uri here, who is the CEO of Overwolf.
Hello, everybody.
So I think as well, everyone can actually talk on this if they want to. It's going to be a very transparent conversation between us all. So if you feel free to turn on your cameras, feel free to have a chat as well. We will have a Q&A session towards the end after me and Uri have done our presentation. So before we start, just want to say that anything on this call is not confidential. You are welcome to record it or take pictures. And there will be a recording as well that you'll be able to watch this back once the call is finished. And we'll let everybody know the link to that recording if you want to check back on any previous things that we've said. So just a little bit about the agenda of what we'll be going from this call. So we'll be giving a quick rundown about myself and Uri, a bit about Tebex, how Overwolf and what they do in the industry, a little bit about why we joined forces and the synergies between Overwolf and Tebex, what it means for you, what's next, and at the end we'll be doing a Q&A as well. So a bit about myself. I actually started in the gaming industry around 15 years ago now. I originally started in RuneScape and Habbo private servers and created one of the first monetization engines for that industry. There was then this popular game came around called Minecraft, and we then founded Bycraft, which was the monetization platform for Minecraft servers. Fast forward a few years and we renamed to Tebex, and we now support over 8 games, and we're one of the largest monetization platforms in the game server industry at the moment. Bit about my personal background as well. I really like motor racing, so you'll usually find me enjoying my car on the weekend. Over to you, Uri.
Thanks, Lee. So, hello, everybody. A little bit about myself. Been a gamer pretty much since I was 6 years old. My first major addiction was Dune 2, for those of you who are old enough to remember. I then joined the Israeli Air Force and flew helicopters for about 7 years. Finished my duty as a major, and then after studying computer science, started Overwolf with a few friends. We've been around since like 2010, so it's been a long learning process for me on how to sort of pivot from building a consumer product for gamers to building an open framework. And this is kind of what got us where we are today. Yeah, bronze. My peak was silver 3, I think, in one of the seasons. But yeah, so like what communities we have. If you're looking at just general games, then I would say, League of Legends, Dota 2, Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, and a bunch of others. One of our products is called CurseForge, which has a big Minecraft community as well as World of Warcraft community. But in any event, my game currently is mostly League of Legends. So nice to meet you all. And I think, Lee, over to you, or is this still me for the next slide?
A bit about Overwolf now for you.
Sweet. So more background about the company. So after starting as creators ourselves in 2010, we pivoted to building a framework for all user-generated content around games in 2013. Some KPIs. So in 2021, creators on our platform made around $29 million, which is up 3x year over year. And creators who build mods and apps and then publish them on Overwolf or CurseForge actually are able to monetize from day one. In terms of engagement numbers, we have about 15 billion yearly mod and app downloads and 31 million monthly active users. And these users are players with which we have some sort of an interaction. It's not like, running in the background or anything like that. It's actually a touch point. We work with about 95,000 creators, of which 12,000 monetize monthly, anywhere from a few dollars to over $100,000 a month. Prior to Tebex, a team of 110. Now, with this acquisition, we've grown to about 120. And we also have a fund of $50 million that we're using to invest in and with creators. Sometimes we do equity investments, sometimes we do grants, so it really depends on the structure. And we've raised a bunch of money from smart investors. Most of that money, so like 52.5 plus 75, was raised in 2021. And our most recent investor is Andreessen Horowitz, which is a venture fund based in San Francisco. They're considered to be one of the best investors in the world. Prior to them, we had Griffin Gaming Partners and Insight Partners, and before that, Intel, Marker, and other small investors like Samsung and Liberty.
So a little bit about Tebex. We was originally named Bycraft, and we focused purely on the monetization of Minecraft servers. Now, when Bycraft first launched, game servers were a lot different, and Minecraft was probably the most popular that we actually supported. Over the next few years, we renamed to Tebex, and we now focus on over 8 games, including 5M, which is our second most popular community on the Tebex platform. So we're trusted by some of the largest game servers in the world, such as Hypixel, who was voted by the Guinness Book of Records for the largest game server, and also popular launchers such as the Luna client. Really pleased to say that we paid out over $10 million alone in December 2021 to all of our creators, just to give you an idea of how large of a scale the game server industry is at the moment. With the Tebex checkout platform, we support over 50 payment methods. So no requirement to set up PayPal, for example, or credit cards. We provide this all automatically for yourself. So we have over 6,500 active game servers currently on the platform, and over 10 million Minecraft players have actually used our service in the past. So as I already said, we've got a dedicated team of 10, and over the next few months, we're going to be scaling this up, and we'll talk about that shortly.
Thanks. So when we think about why we do what we do, which also why we ended up wanting to connect with Liam, and the team over at Tebex, we think that despite the fact that people have created content for over 4 decades around games and have done this from their own passion, we think that combining passion with a profession is the right way to go. So the reason we do everything we do is because we believe that in-game creation should be a legitimate profession, just like YouTubers kind of started as a hobby, or YouTube started as a destination for which people just uploaded videos of cats and those kind of things. And then it turned into this huge, probably the biggest content platform in the world that has a lot of high quality content and a lot of smart people who create content for this platform and make a living building that content. And we wanted to bring that exact same thing for computer games. The first mods were created in 1983. If you Google it, it's for Castle Wolfenstein. The first mod was called Castle Smurfenstein. And the games industry has progressed massively since those early days. And I think right now the time is right for in-game creation to be a profession. So this is how we're naming this profession. And we have a couple examples of, one example is Matt, who owns Tracker Network. Amit, who's an independent developer and created Dota Plus. And Kevin, that created Feed the Beast. All of those guys are now making a living building content for gamers. And for those of you who are not familiar with Overwolf and the different products that we have, so we have basically 3 main products prior to Tebex. First one is the Overwolf framework, which is a way to build single-page web apps on top of existing games that will never allow modding. So for example, a game like League of Legends would never allow modding because it's like a competitive game, as well as Hearthstone or PUBG. And for those games, it makes sense to be able to create overlay apps that help me potentially with stats or capture my gameplay or help me improve as a gamer in a way that doesn't impact game balance. And for that, we've created the Overwolf framework. About like maybe 2 years ago or so, we came across the opportunity to acquire CurseForge. And timing for that was really good for us because we already started working on mod support, and Twitch was looking for a new home for CurseForge, and we ended up deciding to do this acquisition. And so we've acquired CurseForge and integrated it with the Overwolf platform and took ownership on the website. Ever since we've acquired CurseForge, we've massively increased creator payouts because we have this vision that is quite different than what they had in the past, which is, as I mentioned, making this a profession. CurseForge is a product that is about managing mods for games that would support mods, but they don't have that capability built into the game. So obviously Minecraft and World of Warcraft, but also other games that don't really have that embedded capability inside the game. And then lastly, we have CurseForge Core, and CurseForge Core is kind of like Steam Workshop. It's a way to kind of integrate a full-blown mod store into your game. And this is relevant for games that would ship a creation kit for third-party creators, but then they don't want to do the hassle of onboarding creators, managing creator communities, doing creator payouts, et cetera, and this is why we've created CurseForge Core as kind of a mods as a service type solution for game developers. We have some really exciting integrations coming up, some of which, with some of the biggest companies in the world in gaming. And I think we're going to start seeing actual products with CurseForge Core later this year. So this is our products. It's very important for us to be aligned with IP owners. The reason is that we think that there are three sort of key elements to things that happen in games in kind of the realm that we operate at. The first ones are the gamers themselves, the players, and then there are the game developers, and then there are the third-party creators, basically you guys. And I think that our job is to make sure that we treat all of these different verticals the way they should be treated. And we don't want to step on anyone's toes, and we'll never do anything that would hurt the motivation and interests of a game developer, of a creator, and a gamer. We kind of think of ourselves as the sheriff that sort of came around to organize things and to turn what could be a jungle of user-generated content into something a bit more organized. A lot of companies like Blizzard, for example, or Activision, were really, really against user-generated content because they traditionally thought that it's just cheats and bad stuff, and they had misconceptions around the opportunities. And we're here to educate them that it's this is where the world's going, and it's actually an amazing opportunity for them to increase shelf life and to increase content throughput and even increase monetization for them. So this is kind of how I think about IP owners. And obviously, before we made the deal with CurseForge and with Tebex, and we've talked with people like Microsoft and like Take-Two to make sure that everything that happens, both on CurseForge and Tebex, et cetera, are things that they're happy with. Word about the fund. So our first cycle was in 2018. It was a partnership with Intel at $7.2 million. We made 59 investments. That worked out pretty well for us, and so we decided to double down and open a new fund, 50 million, and this time it's only us. Investments vary between 5K to 250, 500,000, and potentially more in some cases. And as I mentioned, we invest both in equity and non-dilutive funding, aka grants. What this means is that if you have a company and the right structure is for us to be a stakeholder in the company, we could potentially invest and have some shares. We could also give you a grant to develop some sort of a use case that we all think that makes sense and that gamers want to use. The process is relatively simple and painless. And what we're looking for is things that we as gamers would use. So if you have a good idea, we try to put the gamer hat and we think, hey, would we use it? We try to understand whether the game developers are going to be happy and whether there's a good business model to have. And if we check these boxes, then it's very likely that we're going to do an investment, team up, and partner and help you all build content. A bit about our culture. So for those of you who play League or Overwatch or, I don't know, MOBAs, we're support main. So support main is one of our core values because we think that creators need to focus on creation and we need to focus on serving creators. We need to be support main for people that create content. I think it's very easy to be a creator, but it's extremely difficult to be a successful creator. And we believe in a world in which we allow creators to focus on the creation because it's so hard to create high quality content. So we'd want creators to focus on creation, and we would power all of the plumbing and all of the other services that creators need. I have here a screenshot that I think was one of my happiest moments back like 2 years ago. And this is from a creator on Overwolf. His name's JJ. He's about like 28 years old, based in Valencia in Spain. And he's saying, and I'll read that really quickly because I think it demonstrates the culture of the company. He's saying, and with that, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. The last couple of months have been absolutely incredible. Thanks to the help and encouragement from all of you, I've been able to build something I would never have thought possible. Changed my life completely, and we're only getting started, et cetera, et cetera. This is a web developer that was able to build an app for TFT from League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics. And without Overwolf, it would have been super difficult for him to build a client desktop app and get to the success levels that he's gotten. That's extremely important for us. So the 4 values that we have are be legendary, that talks about our continuous improvement and openness to feedback. Level up together, that talks about teamwork inside the company. On the hunt, talks about hunger, and support main talks about our mindset.
Many of you may be asking why we chose to join forces. Now, me and Uri started speaking probably over a year ago now. It's went very quickly. But I think from the moment that I first met Uri, it was very apparent that we shared the same vision for the future of gaming UGC. Now, Tebex is very good at what we do from a technical perspective, but something that we have always wanted to do further is get Tebex into more and more games. Now, one of the best things that Overwolf has is they have a lot of contacts within the gaming industry. So one of the major reasons was, Tebex has the technology platform, Overwolf has the additional contacts, and we can make Tebex bigger and better for all and get Tebex onto more games. Now, while we serve different creator categories, we have a similar target audience, be that gamers, authors, creators, modders, such as the people viewing this webinar now. And together we'll have more firepower to provide a better service for all our partners. One of the best things that I'm looking forward to as well is that Overwolf will help Tebex grow our team with their experienced leadership and resources. So we're really looking to really expand our team over the next few months. So be that customer support, developers, etc., to really make the platform better for all. So more value for server owners. So some of the ideas that we have over the next few months is server launchers. So with the Overwolf platform, we're able to create server launchers. Now, this opens up new possibilities. So for example, instead of players having to leave game servers to actually make a purchase, they will now be able to make purchases in-game by using the Overwolf client. Now, features such as this increases conversion rates, which obviously means more money for our game creators as well. One of the biggest goals Overwolf and Tebex are going with this partnership is the more we can help you succeed, the better Tebex will succeed as well. Another thing is acceleration in game design. So we have services to provide our game servers with advice about how to make their games better for your players, be through that design, mentoring, etc. And as Uri has previously mentioned, we have the $50 million Overwolf fund that game servers will now be able to apply for and to pitch Overwolf to. And product synergies as well. So Overwolf own Bucket. So we don't have a lot of information on this just yet, but we can see a lot of potential with combining platforms such as Bucket within Tebex as well. And just want to reiterate, we level up together. As server owners grow, we grow, and that is kind of the motto that we're taking with this partnership moving forward. So some high-level plans for 2022, growing the team from 10 to 20. So this will span across customer support, developers. We really want to start getting a lot more features out for our game servers, and this is something that we're really looking forward to. So as many of you may know, we've been dedicating a lot of resources recently into Tebex Checkout, which has gone very, very well. And the Tebex Checkout platform is now used by over 80% of customers, but a lot more features that will be apparent in the future is actually more customer focused and really aimed at growing your game service. Opt-in Overwolf platform integrations, for example, launchers, in-game purchases, and introducing new services. And this is something that I'm really excited about. So for example, marketing or remarketing. Uri, I don't know if you want to kind of mention a bit about the remarketing opportunities that we have in store.
Sure. So again, this is going to be an opt-in option whenever we launch it. But obviously, you have an existing base of consumers, and throughout the purchasing process, we're as Tebex, we're basically onboarding these consumers, and we have some access to information apart from their email on their purchases. And so, for example, if you wanted to reactivate those consumers that have already spent money with your server, we have the knowledge and ability to kind of meet them when they're surfing on the web based on what's called email retargeting. So, for example, if they would be watching a video on YouTube, they may get a targeted ad saying, hey, we have a bunch of new content on our 5M server or Minecraft server or whatever else. If you're interested to check it out, it's one of the ways in which we can reactivate our existing customers and update them on new content and those kind of things.
So one thing we're also really looking forward to doing is a request board. So CurseForge has something similar to this, but Tebex will be launching one as well. So it will be a page where all of our customers can request new features. You'll be able to see what other game servers have requested as well, and you'll be able to upvote or downvote those features. So we're really kind of going for transparency in what our plans are over the next few months. So once that request board is available, we will be sending out a newsletter, and you'll be able to suggest features and so forth. So another thing, talking about transparency, we now have a public roadmap on our Trello. So this will just kind of give you an idea of what we've recently shipped, what we're actually working on and what's coming next, and future development opportunities as well. So I'll provide a link to this in the chat just now so everyone can see and have a look at that. Obviously, we will be kind of adding more information to this as time goes by. This is a very early on kind of version for the roadmap. So next steps. Just want to reiterate that myself and Liam, the management team of Tebex, is staying with Tebex. So Tebex is remaining as a legal entity. It's just that now Overwolf is the sole shareholder of Tebex Limited. So the existing team is staying and nothing is changing. Nothing is going to change for you. We're not going to be increasing prices or kind of doing anything nasty like that. We're only looking to improve and grow together. Something that many of you will be excited about is that we are going to be launching a Discord server for our key customers. So we're going to have a group similar to this webinar where you can all keep in touch with each other. And just want to reiterate that it's not for customer support. It will be more of a way to chat between us and also to chat to the Tebex team when needed. We're going to be keeping these webinars more frequent. I mean, we've never done one of these before, but I think just from this episode today, it's quite apparent that it's quite useful. So we'll be looking at doing a webinar on the September 6th. And I'm happy to announce as well that we are now offering the ability for Tebex checkout game servers to offer Ukraine donations and roundups on their checkout experience. So obviously with the crisis that's happening in Ukraine at the moment, we want to be able to support those in need. So if you want to opt into this feature, you can now do that from within your control panel. And what this does is when your customers are checking out on your game server, let's say, for example, their payment is $14.50. If they choose to round up, it will go to $15, and Tebex will donate that 50 cents to the Ukrainian Red Cross to support their efforts in Ukraine at the moment. So Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? Liam, I think you've been moderating this. I don't know if you have any that you can pass my way. Other than that, if people you want to drop some questions in the chat, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Hi. So a lot of the questions hopefully I've been able to answer as we've gone along, but there are a few. So I think quite a lot of people seem to be quite excited about the potential for either a launcher or kind of overlays and that sort of thing. So I know there's a lot of details from outside that we need to look at the moment, but I think that the big feedback is there's a lot of excitement there. So are you able to give any examples of some of the things that might be possible related to like an in-launcher store or anything like that?
Sure. So let's say you have a server either on 5M or from Minecraft, and you want to have your own launcher. You'd be able to build it on the Overwolf framework in HTML and JavaScript. And once you do that, you have your own desktop icon. You have your own sort of relationship with the gamers that are now, using your server. So you can do things like when they launch a game, send them a notification. You can have a fix button for your store, for example, if this is something that you want for Minecraft. And because Overwolf is built on Chromium, once you click that store, you'd be able to do in-game purchases. You can basically have almost full freedom to do whatever you want inside the game with WebTech in a way that's integrated with your store. This is kind of the heart of the Overwolf framework. I can maybe, just to make it more visual, let me try and take screen share. Okay, so I want to launch an Overwolf app. I'll start with CurseForge. So I'm hitting Win key. My menu is on the other screen, so you don't see it. I'm writing CurseForge, and I'm now launching it. Drag it to this screen. So CurseForge is on the other screen. Hopefully, you're now seeing Professor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So these were my recent matches. I haven't played that much recently, but what I want to demonstrate here is that this is a desktop app. It has its own desktop icon. It has its own, like, in the Windows menu, its own entity as an app. And it's your ability to have a dedicated relationship with the folks playing your game. This app operates now on pretty much every API that Overwolf has to offer. So if I go to overwolf.com and I write build an app, I click build an app. I click get started, I get to this website that has a bunch of APIs on what you can and can't do. There's also a video demonstration here on what are the possible things. And through that, you can kind of have, your own version of your own launcher and maintain a relationship with your community while adding features, including the commerce features, however you want to do that. So we can maybe do a separate webinar and then discuss specifically what else you could do with the Overwolf framework, but this is just it.
So I noticed a question from Matt as well. As a result of this acquisition, what kind of imminent changes to the agreements in terms of supply of Tebex checkout will occur? Will Tebex continue to operate independently, or will stores be migrated to a different platform? So everything is going to remain exactly the same. No changes of contracts. Stores won't be migrated to a different platform. Overwolf has purchased Tebex for the tech that we have, so we won't be moving everyone anywhere else. Everything's going to stay exactly the same. I see another question as well. Will there be any improvements to checkout platform to enable large communities to better utilize Tebex? So we are looking at ways to allow more custom payments, be that via APIs, checkout links, for example. We can't give any kind of definite timeframes just yet because we need to really work out the timeframes and the roadmap going forward. But we're always looking forward to looking at making improvements to the platform, and custom payment links is something that we definitely are really interested in at the moment. Liam, do we have any more questions? Can you see any?
There's no questions. Is anyone else? If any final questions, please let us know.
I would just, by the way, in terms of roadmap for the last question, I would encourage you all, once we send this link that Lee mentioned, we have that for CurseForge and it works really well. It'd be great if you can, write what you're missing over there and then vote for it. And based on that, we can prioritize, because at the end of the day, this is how we're going to determine what we're building for Tebex. There's a bunch of new things, but the new things are almost independent of Liam and his team working on improving Tebex as a platform. Like all of the overlay stuff, this is like on the side. It's not the core Tebex platform. And to help us understand how to serve you better, we'd like to know your feedback, because sometimes we could be blind to things that are important to you. And I think the strategy of just listening to what creators want worked really well for Overwolf and worked really well in CurseForge, and I'm hopeful that it's going to be the same with Tebex.
So what we will do is, when that request board is available, we will send out an email to everyone in this webinar, and we'll also send a newsletter out as well. So if anyone wants to reach out to me personally to discuss any topics, my email is lee.mcneil@overwolf.com. So you're welcome to get in touch. We're happy to chat. And even if you want to jump on a call as well, more than happy to do that to hear your feedback. I'm sure the same as with Barry as well.
So we've had a few extra questions just during that section. A couple of questions are related to when specific will we consider specific features. So just to reiterate what Uri and Lee have said, we will be putting out the feature board, which will do put them on there, do vote. Ultimately, the ones that get the highest votes, if it's something that is possible for us to do, then we will definitely be doing them. One other question from Matt. So is the Tebex Discord being opened imminently, or is this going to be at some point in the future?
So that will be something next week. So what we'll do is we'll open the Discord and we will send out invites and you'll be able to join us there. Nice one. I think we're pretty much done, Uri, if you're on the same page. Happy to have one more round of questions if anyone's got anything. Otherwise, we'll call it a day and looking forward to the next webinar. And we're going to keep this more of a regular thing because I think it's good for everybody.
I think we're good in mind. Any other questions? Any last questions?
No, email address is going to stay exactly the same. So check out how you can support Tebex.io, etc. Will remain on the Tebex domain name. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for your time. It's been really good to chat to you all. I hope this was a really useful webinar for you. Uri, I don't know if you have any other final remarks, but other than that, I'm happy and.
No, I'm good. I mean, excited about the partnership and working with you all. As everything's going to be a journey, and look forward to working both with the Tebex team and everybody here on the call. So thank you for your time. Thank you for joining.
Nice one. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah, bye.